Hey class, we're going to do another reading. This time, we are in a hallway. Yay, I'm trying to do these in all different spots and we're starting to run out of places. Hey look, Mr. Kelly's wedding day. Oh, look how happy she is. She is a lucky girl. Okay, so we're going to start
Kelly.
with...
Mrs.
We're,
Kelly.
Mrs. Kelly is a lucky girl. Let's start with page 68. Okay, the arrival. The new neighbor arrives for the 4 o'clock show. When the truck comes lumbering towards the parking lot, Bob scampers over to inform us. Bob always knows what's happening. He's a useful friend to have, especially when you can't leave your domain. With a groan, Max lifts the sliding metal door near the food court, the place where the deliveries are made. A big white truck is backing up to the door, belching smoke. When the driver opens the truck, I know that Stella's right. A baby elephant's inside. I see her trunk poking out from the blackness. I'm glad for Stella, but when I glance at her, I see she's not glad at all. Stand back, everybody, Mac yells. We've got a new arrival. This is Ruby, folks. 600 pounds of fun to save our sorry butts. This gal's gonna sell us some tickets. Here's a picture of Ruby. Aww. Mac and 2 men climb into the black cave of the truck. We hear noise, scuffling, and a word Mac uses when he's angry. Ruby makes a noise too, like one of the little trumpets they sell at the gift store. Move, Mac says, but still there's no Ruby. Move, he says again. We haven't got all day. Inside her domain, Stella paces just as much as she's able. 2 steps one way, 2 steps the other. She slaps her trunk against the rusty metal bars. She grumbles. Stella, I ask, did you hear the baby? Stella mutters something under her breath, a word she uses when she's angry. Relax, Stella, I say. It'll be okay. Ivan, Stella says, it will never, ever be okay. And I know it's time to stop talking. Stella helps. The men are still yelling. Some of the yelling is at each other, but mostly it's at Ruby. We hear scrambling, pounding, shifting. The side of the truck shudders. I'm starting to like this elephant, Bob whispers. I'm getting the big one, Max says. Maybe she can coax the stupid brat out of the truck. Mac opens Stella's door. Come on, girl, he urges. He unties the rope attached to the floor bolt. Stella pushes past Mac, nearly knocking him over. She rushes as best she can, limping heavily towards the open back door of the truck. She catches her swollen foot at the edge of the ramp and winces. Blood trickles down. Halfway up the ramp, she pauses. The noise in the truck stops. Ruby falls silent. Slowly, Stella makes her way up the ramp. It groans under her weight, and I can tell how much she is hurting by the awkward way she moves. At the top of the incline, she stops. She pokes her trunk into the emptiness. We wait. The tiny gray trunk appears again. Shyly, it reaches out, tasting the air. Stella curls her own trunk around the baby's, making soft rumbling sounds. We wait some more, and a hush falls over the entire Big Top Mall. Thud, thud, step, step, pause. Step, step, pause. And there she is. So small she can fit under Stella with room to spare. Her skin sags, and she sways unsteadily as she makes her way down the ramp. Not the greatest specimen, Max says, but I got her cheap from this bankrupt circus out west. They had shipped her over from Africa. Only had a month before they went bust. He gestures towards Ruby. Thing is, people love babies. Baby elephants, baby gorillas. Heck, give me a baby alligator and I can make a killing. Stella ushers Ruby towards her domain. Mac and the 2 men follow. At Stella's door, Ruby hesitates. Mac gives Ruby a shove, but she doesn't budge. Doggone it, get a clue, Ruby, he mutters. But Ruby isn't moving, and neither is Stella. Mac grabs a broom. He raises it, and instantly Stella steps in front of Ruby to shield her. Get in the cage, both of you, Mac shouts. Stella stares at Mac, considering. Gently but firmly, using her trunk, She nudges Ruby into her domain. And then does Stella, and only then does Stella enter. Max slams the door shut with a clang. I see two trunks intertwined. I hear Stella whispering. Poor kid, Bob says. Welcome to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan. Old news. When Julia comes, she sits by Stella's domain and watches the new baby. She barely talks to me. Stella doesn't talk to me either. She's too busy nuzzling Ruby. She is cute, little Ruby, with her ears flapping like palm leaves. But I am handsome and strong. Bob trots a circle around my belly before settling down in just the right spot. Give it up, Ivan. You're old news. Julia gets out a piece of paper and a pencil. I can see that she's drawing Ruby. I move to the corner of my domain to pout. Bob grumbles. He doesn't like it when I disrupt his naps. Homework, Julia's father scolds. Julia sighs and puts her drawing aside. I grunt. Julia glances in my direction. Poor old Ivan, she says. I've been ignoring you, haven't I? I grunt again, a dignified, indifferent grunt. Julia thinks for a moment, then smiles. She walks over to my domain, to the spot in the corner where the glass is broken. She slides papers through. She rolls a pencil across my cement floor. You could draw a picture of the baby elephant too, Julia says. I bite the pencil in half with my magnificent teeth. Then I eat some paper.
Ew.
Tricks. Even after Julia and her father leave, I keep trying to sulk, but it's no use. Gorillas are not by nature pouters. Stella, I call. It's a full moon, did you see? Sometimes when we're lucky, we catch a glimpse of the moon through the skylight in the food court. I did, Stella says. She is whispering, and I realize that Ruby must just be asleep. Is Ruby all right? I ask. She's too thin, Ivan, Stella says. Poor baby. She was in that truck for days. Mac bought her from a circus the same way he bought me. But she hadn't been there long. She was born in the wild like us. Will she be okay, I ask. Stella doesn't answer my question. The circus trainers chained her to the floor, Ivan. All 4 feet. 23 hours a day. I puzzle over why this would be a good idea. I always try to give humans the benefit of the doubt. Why would they do that? I finally ask. To break her spirit. So she could learn to balance on a pedestal. So she could stand on her hind legs. So a dog could jump on her back while she walked in mindless circles. I hear her tired voice and think of all the tricks Stella has learned. So we're seeing again. First, we got a big piece of the puzzle here. Stella says to Ivan, she was born in the wild like us. So that's one of our questions. We know now that Stella was a wild elephant. Ivan was a wild gorilla. Okay, they were not born in captivity. Also, the way that Stella describes being chained, Ruby being chained to the ground for 23 hours so she could learn all of these tricks. Stella does not say it in a way where she's excited. I know how to do this. She can stand on the pedestal. She can do this. She says it in a way that she's disappointed that Ruby has to have gone through this, because we know now Stella's been through this too. Introductions. When I awake next morning, I see a little trunk poking out between the bars of Stella's domain. Hello, says a small, clear voice. I'm Ruby. She waves her trunk. Hello, I say. I'm Ivan. Are you a monkey? Ruby asks. Certainly not. Bob's ears perk up, although his eyes stay closed. He's a gorilla, he says, and I'm a dog of uncertain heritage. Why did the dog climb onto your tummy? Ruby asks. Because it's there, Bob murmurs. Is Stella awake? I ask. Aunt Stella's asleep, Ruby says. Her foot is hurting, I think. Ruby turns her head. Her eyes are like Stella's, black and long-lashed, bottomless lakes fringed with tall grass. When's breakfast? She asks. Soon, I say. When the mall opens and the workers come. Where? Ruby twists her head in the other direction. Where are the other elephants? It's just you and Stella, I say, for some reason. And I feel we have let her down. Are there more of you? No. Not at the moment, I say. Ruby picks up a piece of hay and considers it. Do you have a mom and dad? Well, I used to. Everyone has parents, Bob says. It's unavoidable. Before the circus, I used to live with my mom and my aunts and my sisters and my cousins, Ruby said. She drops the hay, picks it up, twirls it. They're dead. I don't know what to say. I'm not really enjoying this conversation, but I see that Ruby isn't done talking. To be polite, I say, I'm sorry to hear that, Ruby. Humans killed them, she said. Who else? Bob asks, and we all fall silent. Okay, so again, now we've met Ruby. We're getting more insight now with the connections between Ruby and Stella. Stella is seeing herself in Ruby as she was a young elephant. So this is an important aspect now. We're going to learn more about the background information of the characters, and we're going to learn about connections again between Ruby and Stella, and Ruby and Ivan, and also Stella and Ivan. So this was an important part. I'm glad you guys were with me today. We'll see you tomorrow in the classroom. Have a good night, guys.